Websites your competitors don't want you to know. Part 2.
All you do is go to this website, and it lets you find out exactly how much your competitors are making by showing you how much traffic they're getting, where the traffic's coming from, and even which social media platform is driving the most visits. It has a complete breakdown of all the recent ads they've been running, what type of keyword.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday.
She got on that jean jacket.
I'm just going to ask the question that's on my mind, which is what goes on in Colorado? I mean, someone had mentioned to me, actually a few of you guys had suggested that we may have kicked the hornet's nest somehow when we began speaking about Victor Marx, right? His alleged ties to Israel, the story we heard from Corby Hall, his inexplicable relationship to Erica. That's when all of these random attacks kind of started up against me and my family, as though they were leveling up to sort of distract us. Trump suddenly posting my face on Time magazine, calling me the most vile person of the year. Really? Jeffrey Epstein didn't deserve that honor? They then send out the wacky Larry Loomer. Yeah, let's not lose focus, actually. Colorado, where Victor Marx is currently running for governor, it is a beautiful state. Actually ranked, I believe, the healthiest state in the union. The state is also rich in the wrong kind of American history. And there was, in fact, another shooting that took place on September 10th that we should briefly discuss. Also, we finally received a name of the Hollywood deepfake company that we can confirm Turning Point USA was meeting with following Charlie's tragic passing. We're going to show you what this company is capable of, and I'm going to allow you to draw your own conclusions.
Deepfake company.
And lastly, the admission from Paramount Tactical, Gary Melton, that one of the children in Erica's Fort Huachuca alibi photo is not hers, is not a subtle admission. Because it looks like the internet was right again. Welcome back to Candace.
Hit that damn song.
I still have a lot of questions about Victor Marx. You know, I went off to Italy to do my confirmation, got distracted. I had mentioned to you that despite him doing all those public posts about me, he didn't respond to my Instagram message.
Right.
And then he did. I just checked actually saying he did while I was in Italy. He finally answered. And so I'm going to set a time for him to, at least attempt to set a time for him to appear on the show and answer some questions. Question number one I probably have is, why was Victor Marx the first documented public person to do a video announcing that Charlie had passed long before the president of the United States or anybody else? Who was it that told him that Charlie was dead? Right? We may or may not get a solid answer to that, but it certainly registers to me as odd. Also, when and how did he get so close to Erica? Dr. Kirk. So close, in fact, that he was in her immediate circle of comfort after her husband was brutally murdered in front of the entire world. As soon as she flew back home to Arizona, he was there to offer her a hug in her home. I might add, her personal space. I have since learned that at some point, Charlie and Victor Marx had a real falling out. The reason why, I'm not sure. But it was apparently bad enough, according to insiders at Turning Point USA, that Charlie and Victor actually stopped following one another on social media for a period of time. So I'll ask rhetorically, when and why and how did Erica remain or become so close to Victor Marx? Because on the basis of the stories that we've heard about him, some of them from Victor himself, he seems to me to be a bit dangerous, right? A tad unstable, if I may. I don't really buy his pastoral act for 1 minute. And we checked, and it appears that the last time Victor Marx had done anything publicly with Charlie, appeared on Charlie's show, it was in October of 2023. What happened in October of 2023? Well, Victor Marx appeared on the Charlie Kirk show to provide Charlie with frontline reporting from, you guessed it, Israel, right after October 7th. Yes, naturally, of course, Israel. Victor Marx went straight there, despite its heightened security states, due to his contacts in the IDF. He was able to get there. Don't believe me? Take a listen to Victor.
Victor, you are live in Israel. Give us a frontline report.
I can tell you right now, it's worse than anyone can imagine. Today, I was at the festival field, and they're not allowing anybody in. But the relationships that we have with Special Forces commanders here with the IDF are extensive, and they are taking us to places so that we can tell the world and America especially what has happened.
And I haven't exactly hunted down this rumor, but I did receive a few tips into our inbox that is the reason that people who attended church were given as to why some of these pastors knew Charlie was dead before somebody else because of their contacts in the IDF. Again, I need to chase down those leads, but yeah, they have a pretty good intel. Certainly, I would imagine Israeli intelligence may have known first somehow. Wonder why they were interested. Who knows? Anyway, is it fair, at least after listening to that, to suggest that Corby Hall might have been telling the truth about Victor Marks potentially doing some work trying to secure weaponry on behalf of Israel, on behalf of the IDF, allegedly, maybe? I think it's a fair assumption. Anyway, now we know Victor is running for governor of Colorado, inspired by, according to him, Charlie's untimely death. Something overtook him, he had to do something, and that something was to run for the governor of Colorado. Okay, and Colorado is interesting for a lot of reasons. On background, for those of you that do not live here, we Americans recognize it as, sadly, the birthplace of school shootings. No one could forget Columbine. I was very young, and it still feels so raw, so shocking. I remember crowding around the big, bulky screen TV, waiting for information to come through the mainstream media. Beyond that, not too far away, obviously in Aurora, Colorado, there was one of the more infamous mass shootings, Batman-themed shooting. When The Dark Knight came out, it took place in a theater. And we shouldn't forget here that Erica Kirk's friend was there at the shooting in the movie theater. Erica seems to have bad luck that way when it comes to shootings. Now, we can make an educated guess as to who that friend was, but we still don't know for certain that person's identity or how they were involved. Did they get hurt? I don't know. Now, regarding Colorado, we also know that Charlie was supposed to be in Colorado the next day, right, on September 11th, immediately following UVU. His next event, which was for some reason barely publicized, was to take place at Charis Bible College.
If you don't work in IT, keep scrolling.
Okay, now that they're gone, how are we doing? How many passwords?
September 11th. We broke the story, actually. We also broke the story that a security plan was not put in place for that event, which is remarkable. And Brian Harpole has all but confirmed our reporting in his court filing against me. Look at what he wrote regarding Charis Bible. He said, according to Owens' supposed tipster, there was, quote, no security plan in place at Charis Bible College, claiming that it was odd that Harpole's team planned Kirk's security strategy for Utah Valley University 2 weeks in advance, but failed to contact the chief of police for Woodley, Colorado to plan security for Charis Bible College. Owen specifically asked, quote, why didn't Dan Flood and Brian Harpole and Turning Point USA's security have any coordination with police departments up in Colorado, if this is what they normally do, question mark. And then they put in quotations here, in parentheses, Harpole did not coordinate with Charis Bible College nor the Woodland Police Department because he was not advised that Charlie would be visiting the school.
You just can't make this up. It is not uncommon for Charlie to visit universities with only Dan Flood. But why was there no security? We don't care if it's with Brian. We don't care if it's with Dan. We don't care if it's with Jack, Mike, Paul, Billy, Bob. Why was there no security plan involved? Why had you not reached out to them? Oh my God.
Uncommon for Charlie to visit universities with only Dan Flood. Really? I think they just keep forgetting that. I went on tour with Charlie for 3 years. That's uncommon. I don't know if it's happened. I'm sure maybe we're going to find out in court if it's happened, but it certainly would be described as uncommon for there just be one person in security at a college event. And he had no idea, you've been with Charlie for years. You had no idea that that was his next stop. That still strikes me as odd. Doesn't matter if you put it in a filing. Doesn't make it suddenly, I now have clarity on the issue. He says it's fine. I'm going to show you guys, by the way, this blurb in the local media in Colorado 7 days after Charlie died on September 17th, clarifying and confirming that he was, in fact, due to speak there the next day. Here it is. It says in the corner, the college had planned to host Kirk after Wednesday's first stop of his American Comeback Tour at the Utah Valley University, where he was shot and killed while answering a question from an audience member. Yeah. Woodland Park event honors his legacy. Now, I should mention, by the way, in case you're wondering regarding Charis Bible College, the founder of it is this guy, Andrew Womack. And you're thinking, is he former military? Of course. Don't be silly. Grow up. There's military ties everywhere. Okay?
Right.
Now, after Charis Bible, Charlie was due to meet up, as we learned, with Erica at Colorado State University, which is situated at Fort Collins. Erica confirmed that in her sit-down with Jesse Waters, but he never made it, obviously, to either one of those events. Something else about Colorado that's interesting is that one of the planes that Turning Point USA uses, and I want to be clear here, more specifically, the plane that Charlie himself used for basically all of 2023, right after Mikey McCoy becomes the chief of staff, this plane, tail number 9582MM, Charlie begins using this plane all through 2025. It was really kind of only towards the end that he switched to the other plane that he used that day. But his plane was initially this one that he was using to go to every event all across the country. But on the day of Charlie's assassination, we know that Charlie did not take that plane to Provo, but someone did. Someone known to Turning Point USA most certainly did take that plane, N582MM. And they got there to Provo eventually after the shooting. I'm actually going to tell you its flights that day in general. Again, this used to be Charlie's main plane, N582MM. It is still tied to Paradise Jets, which the other plane is tied to as well, one that he did take that day. You can see that 25 minutes before Charlie was shot, the plane departs Denver, Colorado. That's at 11:58 a.m. Mountain Time. And then it heads to a military base in Pierre, South Dakota. South Dakota is one of my Egyptian plane stops. It lands at 12:56 p.m. Mountain Time. So it departs 25 minutes before Charlie gets shot from Denver, Colorado, and then it lands into Pierre, South Dakota about 23 minutes after Charlie was shot. Okay. Then whoever it is that's aboard this plane, who's a person known to Turning Point USA, stayed in South Dakota for about 50 minutes before heading onward to Chicago, Illinois for what looks like a pickup. And then they went straight to Provo, Utah, landing at 6:57 p.m. And then that plane stays overnight. I want to again stress this plane is known to Turning Point USA. Somebody aboard that plane knows Charlie. After it stayed overnight in Provo on September 10th, it then went back to Pierre, South Dakota. Again, nothing there really. We're in the Dakotas other than the military base. Colorado, as I've just seen, it just routinely comes up in the story. I'm just interested in what goes on in Colorado. And it would definitively be interesting to know who affiliated with Turning Point USA was aboard that plane from Denver that took off 25 minutes before Charlie got shot, headed for a military base. Switching gears here, same topic really. You may have remembered that on September 10th, at almost the exact same time, down to the minute that Charlie was shot, there was another shooting in Colorado at a high school, Evergreen High School. And it sort of disappeared from the national media cycle. Of course, local media stayed on this somewhat, but not to the satisfaction of the parents that went to the school. I know I received a flurry of emails, did not really look into it. Parents that were not satisfied, who were requesting information, they were not getting information. And, I didn't really have time to look into it. But I do think that it's worth discussing so that you kind of know what happened. The official story is that a 16-year-old student who attended Evergreen High School named Desmond Holly showed up to school with a Smith & Wesson .38 special revolver at 12:21 2 minutes before Charlie, he shot a 14-year-old student at close range while still inside of the school. Then Desmond leaves the school building. He crosses the football field and comes across a second student. That student's name is Matthew Silverstone, and he shoots him at close range. He shoots him once in the head, I believe, also in the chest. And he does this at the intersection of South Olive Road and Buffalo Park Road.
Here's what comes off a bowl of strawberries when you drop this device in the water. These berries are fresh from the store and already rinsed under the tap, but within
A roofer, a guy who's literally working on roofs in construction, a man named Delmar Martinez, filmed this initial confrontation. And in Martinez's footage, which I'm going to show you the interview with Martinez, Desmond Holley is holding Matt Silverstone by the neck, shoots him, then proceeds up the driveway. And then Delmar's video captures deputies shouting commands like, drop the gun. And one deputy is staying behind to provide aid to Matthew Silverstone, while remaining law enforcement officers are following the shooter up the driveway. Now, when the officers and Desmond Holley had both moved out of frame, out of the view of the roofer's camera, a final shot rings out. Not captured by the camera, it was Desmond shooting himself. The sheriff's office has since confirmed that only the deputies were the witnesses to Holley shooting himself after they gave their commands. Okay, so here are just a couple of things, and they have very recently, within the last few days, done a massive document dump, finally, which people will have to go through and confirm. But I can just tell you some things off the bat that locals and parents at the school found immediately odd about the shooting, and the fact that they're just now getting any sorts of answers and more documents. It's a long time to wait. If that was your kids that were attending the school, you could understand why these parents were frustrated and were emailing me asking me to take a look into it. One of the greater mysteries of the story is the first 911 call. And this is, I'm quoting this from an email that I received. One detail, she writes, that has never been publicly clarified is who actually made the first 911 call and from where that call was placed. The call came in at 12:22, a full minute after the first shot was fired. The description given to the dispatcher was unnervingly calm and measured. They said, quote, something bad is going on a half-mile south of Evergreen Lake. This is a geographic reference rather than a direct report of gunshots from someone inside the building. The caller's identity, the type of device used, and the precise location the call originated from have never been publicly disclosed. That registers to me as wacky. I'm going to agree with this person that's just, what do you mean? Like, that's a very strange call. Why are you not disclosing who that came in from? Very easy. Number two, another weird thing, the general response in general. The response in general. This woman writes, quote, during the response to the Evergreen shooting, officers from mutual aid jurisdictions, people just coming in from other jurisdictions, who arrived on scene went door to door, knocking and verbally identifying themselves as police and SWAT and asking teachers and students to open up. That is the opposite of what the established lockdown protocol requires. The correct procedure, the one that has been the standard since Columbine, is that students and teachers stay behind locked doors no matter what. You do not open for anyone. And law enforcement uses school-provided keys to enter. You do not open the door, period. Not for anybody knocking, not even for someone saying that they're a cop. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office actually acknowledged this in their October 10th update and said that Jefferson County's deputies followed the protocol correctly, and it was the outside or mutual aid officers from neighboring agencies who started going door to door asking people to open up. And the Sheriff's Office specifically credited the teachers and the students for doing the right thing by ignoring those requests and staying locked. The sheriff's public explanation essentially placing the blame on interagency coordination without naming which agencies specifically sent the door knocking officers or which agents specifically, or whether any accountability followed is odd. It's notable that Evergreen High School is located in the same county where the Columbine High School massacre occurred. So the Columbine lessons were very well learned in Jefferson County. The entire foundation of modern school lockdown protocol nationwide was structured upon the post-Columbine era of school safety training. The blueprint for standard protocol that started 26 years ago with Columbine was created and built largely around this particular county's experience. Why aren't we revealing who went door to door, knocked, and said, "I'm a police officer, open up." I don't know. Another odd detail regarding that roofer who captured the footage of the scuffle, which eventually led to the suicide of the shooter, but he missed the suicide of the shooter, and he also says he didn't see the suicide of the shooter. Like I said, Delmar Martinez, his story is that he was working a local job, roofing, building, and was either coming from or going to his lunch break. But his story about how he captured the footage, 10 minutes of footage, which, like I said, at no point shows Desmond Holly's suicide, just the police officers and the scuffle and rendering aid to Matthew Stone, is odd. Take a listen to the story that he tells on the news.
In that moment, I didn't know how to react.
It's a feeling families, students, and the Evergreen community share as they grapple with emotions and questions in the days since the shooting at Evergreen High School.
I got out of the car and started to film.
For Delmer Martinez, it's grappling with what he witnessed and caught on camera as the tragedy unfolded.
I realized later that this was a bigger issue.
Martinez tells CBS Colorado he and another coworker were working a roofing job in Evergreen. They were driving along Buffalo Park Road near Olive Road when a police officer sped past them and got out of their car.
It was there where we saw a young person fighting. He came out holding another student by the neck, and the police was saying something for him to stop. And so the student shot at the other teen and threw him. He threw him to the ground.
Martinez started recording while they were stopped on the side of the road.
Police didn't know how to react, whether to attend to the teen on the ground or follow the other one.
Videos shared by Martinez show what happened after he says the teen suspect shot the other student. Other officers quickly arrived on scene, and one of them followed the suspect up a dirt driveway.
He went off. He went off walking about 10 meters.
Officers appear to tell the suspect to put his weapon down. That's when Martinez says he heard a gunshot.
Everything lasted about 10 minutes.
We've blurred out the right side of the video where another officer was performing first aid.
Excuse me. Hold on. Let me hold on. Let's pull it back a little bit, because we have making the model of what Desmond, I believe that's his name.
Recording while they were stopped on the side of the road.
So hold on, let's zoom in. Because we need to know what kind of firearm you getting out the car with, Mr. First Up the Driveway.
Know how to react, whether to attend to the teen on the ground or follow the other one.
Videos shared by Martinez show what happened after he says the teen suspect shot the other student. Other officers quickly arrived on scene, and one of them followed the suspect up a dirt driveway.
See what I mean? You're coming in with a rifle. He got a .38 revolver. Excuse me. That shot don't sound like a .38.
He went off. He went off walking about 10 meters.
See what I mean?
Appear to tell the suspect to put his weapon down. That's when Martinez says he heard a gunshot.
Everything lasted about 10 minutes.
We've blurred out the right side of the video where another officer was performing first aid.
We wanted to leave, but there wasn't anywhere we could go.
Martinez says they didn't have cell reception at that location and didn't know what was happening to the students.
We didn't realize until 5:30 that we were filming something that was a lot more serious.
In hindsight, he wishes he could have done more to help in that moment.
I was scared. It didn't cross my mind to help.
But gives credit to the police for doing everything they could in that moment to try to get to the scene and de-escalate the situation.
I just made a $27 ebook in 2 minutes using AI. Watch how I did it, so you can do it too.
So right off the bat, maybe that all will check out, but right off the bat when I heard this story, I'm like, wait, a police officer sped past you and pulled over and you just pulled over too? I've heard of rubbernecking, but I genuinely have never heard of a police officer speeds past you, pulls over, and you go, I'm just going to pull over too and just start filming. Okay, interesting, but the next part is actually even more odd. Because you see, he mentions the fact that he's a roofer and that he was working a job in Evergreen. It's a very tight-knit community. Well, locals who were very interested in this began searching, and they could not determine what house he and his coworkers were working on. or what contractor they were working for. So I don't know if you know this, but it is required by law. You can't just go roofing and building a house. And this is the case also in Evergreen without legally filing for a permit to do work with the city and or the town. Everywhere I've ever lived, that is the circumstance, and certainly they confirmed it is the law here. So they should be able to do a quick permit search in Evergreen and say, oh, they were working on Joe's house down the street and went on their lunch break. Can't find anything. Researched every house to see what in Evergreen, which house he was working on. Can't determine it. And journalists seem uninterested in determining that answer as well. Seems like a lead that should be chased. I certainly, if I was living in Evergreen, would want to know, no, but what house were you actually working on? Lastly, a point that's odd about this story, and there are many points that are odd, so I'm just kind of going through them quickly with you here. The school resource officer, person that's supposed to be there, obviously, you know, Corby Hall, though that was the interest with Victor Marks.
I was just about to get ready to say, aren't you supposed to have the book bag?
He wanted to put a full AR into the hands of every school resource officer. Well, Evergreen High School did have a full-time school resource officer position, but the deputy that was assigned to that role happened to be on medical leave at the time of the shooting.
Wow.
So a different deputy whose primary assignment was actually another high school that was 9 miles away, Conifer High School, was filling in part-time. So he was working as the school officer for both Conifer High School and Evergreen. He was the only one that was on duty the day of the shooting. And initially, the reporting came out and said that the SRO deputy left Evergreen campus around 10:30 a.m. because he was responding to a nearby traffic crash. And so he was off campus when the shooting started at 12:21.
How are you watching this school, that school, and you got a police scanner?
Now, this reporting turned out to be inaccurate. They had to make adjustments. They had to correct the sequence. And they said, no, actually what happened was the sheriff office revised this. The deputy had actually started his morning at Conifer. Then he made the drive to Evergreen. He stayed at Evergreen for about an hour. Then he drove back to Conifer. Then he was dispatched from Conifer High School to a car crash. And while en route to that car crash, that's when the call came in about the Evergreen shooting. And he turned around and started heading toward Evergreen. Now, that's another lead that hasn't been followed up on because nobody can find this alleged crash that he got dispatched to. Location of the crash he was originally dispatched to was never publicly released. Anything confirming that information has not been found by people who are around the clock working to confirm these details. There's been no coverage about a crash that took place. Maybe you could say, well, they were overwhelmed with the shooting, perhaps. No crash report number, no location, no other parties involved. It was reported, but never independently corroborated. So there are a lot of reasons why people are not feeling confident in what happened at another shooting in Colorado. And the fact that it took place so close to the Charlie Kirk shooting is of interest. It could have nothing to do with Charlie Kirk shooting. It could just be an unhappy consequence. But we had received enough emails about it, people, especially when we started bringing up Victor Marks and Colorado in general, that I thought, let me just kind of introduce that to a more national audience who may not have been paying attention to it. Like I said, there has recently been a huge document dump. Let's hope it provides more clarity, and we will eventually see whether or not that's true. We're going to take a brief break here before I tell you a bit about this AI company, Hollywood AI company, and we take a look at Paramount Tactical's Gary Melton's latest slip. All right, you guys, some moments change everything. And for a woman facing an unexpected pregnancy, seeing her baby on an ultrasound and hearing that tiny heartbeat can turn fear into hope. In fact, it doubles the chance that she'll choose life. That's Candace 10 at checkout. Just want to shout out this person in the chat. Miami2388 writes, I feel so validated about the fake picture of Erica's kids. I have been screaming since it was released. So let me back up and tell you, and you should feel validated, Miami, what she's referring to. I touched upon it briefly yesterday, but during the Fort Huachuca madness, right, when I really was just focused on the Brian Harpole maybe being at this meeting on the 9th, less focused on why Erica may have been at a hotel. She wasn't seen with Brian Harpole, if Mitch's memory is to be believed. What kind of exploded the Fort Huachuca story was this unnecessary coordination that was discovered between Andrew Colvett, who was supposed to have been, moved away from PR because he was failing miserably at it. They brought in crisis PR. At least that's what Erica told me. And Erica coordinating with Andrew Colvett to get an alibi for Fort Huachuca to this obscure YouTuber, Paramount Tactical, Gary Melton. Says he's, former Green Beret. He's very thick, and I'm talking like not a lot of thoughts happening. He thinks he's putting puzzles together, but I just don't think that that's his thing. And so it was very weird they were coordinating with this guy in general when everything was good between us at that time. They could have just emailed me and said, hey, I saw you saw this guy Mitch. He thought Erica was here. Here's her alibi. Here's where she was actually on the 8th and the 9th. And so when this moment was discovered, and we can get ready to pull in this clip, it was quite shocking to see that they were coordinating. That we have Erica and Andrew Colvett coordinating with Paramount Tactical, and they wanted to keep that on the DL, of course, because Gary's brain is not firing very quickly. He accidentally read the alibi live on air, and it was one of these moments. Take a listen to Gary on his thought-provoking show.
I asked him, hey, do you have proof of this? He says, but it's worth saying Erica wasn't in some fort in Tucson. The internet has gone insane. She woke up next to Charlie on the 9th, went to the office with Charlie all day, woke him up from a nap before a Fox hit, went to dinner with Charlie.
Didn't I say about that finger over the face? I'm out. But you ain't in the picture.
Literally, people are lunatics. And then the next one, I will show you guys that one. Right here we have this one. And then I'll show you an up-close picture with the metadata that we have on the screen itself.
Look, it literally says it right there. It literally said, don't share.
With their kids at 8:33 a.m. Pacific time, which again, in September, Arizona's on Pacific time. Specific. Taking them for a walk. Apparently I wasn't supposed to share that. But anyways, point being is that's 8:33 a.m.
Why'd you say, sorry, Andrew?
The date on that? Sorry, Andrew. I screwed that up, man. I was trying to run a podcast and do everything else. But again, it's proof of what's going on here. And I'm going to share the final screen, the final picture that shows the metadata for this, that she was indeed with the kids.
Look, he's so blown. He's so blown. Look, you can't even get it together. He's trying to recover. Look.
You guys can see that. It says right at the top, September 9th, 8:33 a.m. Case closed. Case closed.
If you're in your 30s, this one's for you. Salon gels are so damaging, and regular nail polish chips after just a couple of...
Sorry, Andrew.
He's doing his best. He's doing his best. It was on Pacific time. Specific time. Arizona was on specific time. It was a very specific time in the Pacific. But so we get to this moment, and you're going, wait a second. A lot of things happening here that are weird, but you could see Andrew's very clear. This is her alibi for the 9th. He also says, which was very strange, and I ended up texting both him and Justin Strife after this, that Erica was at the office all day with Charlie. She wasn't on the 9th. She has never made that claim publicly. Actually, the exact opposite thing is what she tells Jesse Waters, that Charlie was in the office all day. So she was not with him on the 9th. The 9th was not ever in question for Erica Kirk. I wasn't really questioning, but she may have had some business at Fort Huachuca. Like I said, her parents are in the military. She may have just gone to a hotel for a reason. Who knows? But this moment made us go, this is weird. And instantly, people like Miami in the chat here began making videos saying those aren't her kids.
Wow.
The son is supposed to be 16 months. The daughter, these are not Erica Kirk's kids. By the way, because critical thinking does not seem to be something that Gary Melton's able to do. This is no indication. Even if these were her kids and she was covering their faces, this would be no indication that Erica Kirk was with them. It's a photo of the kids by themselves. Okay, so this could be a
picture. What?
By a nanny, right? Nanny could have taken them somewhere, and they're sending you the photo of, can you send me a photo of the kids? You take that to, here we go. This is not proof of anything, but the thing that I want you to focus on is they said kids. Andrew said, here is proof she is with her kids. And they did try to pass off the idea that this was Erica's kids. And I looked at the photo. I'm an expert at toddler hands, toddler everything. I've got extra tall kid. This was very clearly, at the very least, not her son. But I abstained. I completely abstained from that until I received information from people who would know, who know the kids very well, and said, not only is that not her son, it's not her daughter. And I said, that's really, you're saying this is just somebody else's kids, full stop? And I'm not, I was not willing to allege that. I also just feel a sense of ick when the kids are being used as an alibi. I don't want to spotlight children, have people looking for children. It just, all of that was like, I'm just going to abstain from it. I know deep down, at the very least, that isn't her son. And I'm hearing from someone that it isn't her daughter either. But I'm going to abstain from it until Gary Melton did what Gary does the best. He's the greatest PR firm. He really is. He's the greatest PR firm, not for Turning Point USA, but for the people. He doesn't mean to be. He's confirmed so many things by accident. He confirmed that Mitch was at Fort Huachuca when he brought on Mitch's son, because, they were going to crush me with his past. And, he's a terrible father, so don't listen. It doesn't even matter if Brian Harper was there or Erica was there, because look at what a terrible guy Mitch is. And then Mitch's son confirmed that he got a phone call on that day because the police were called, and I guess he's kin, and they reached out to him and asked him questions about his dad. So Gary also accidentally confirmed that Mitch was at Fort Huachuca, which is another hilarious moment brought to you by Paramount, not so tactical, it turns out. So anyway, Gary Melton tweeted this a couple of days ago, because people have been pushing and insisting these are not our kids.
Is her son that big yet, or am I still stuck in the future with Charlie's apparent 5-year-old son? And then, love this trend. May God watch her and keep her and use her and TPUSA for his glory. It's not her son. It's her daughter with another child. Look, mystery solved.
Kids. And someone wrote, is her son this big yet, or am I still stuck in the future with Charlie's apparent 5-year-old? I actually never read the tweet that he was responding to. That's very funny. Again, the internet being asked not to believe our own eyes. And Paramount, Gary finally responds and says, it's not her son. It's her daughter with another child. Look, mystery solved.
But then the text message said proof she was with her kids. Okay, well.
Okay, don't gaslight us. You were the people who introduced this. Even if it were her actual children, it would not have been a sufficient answer. It would not have satisfied interest as to whether she was with her kids. Anybody can take a photo of your children and send it to you. Secondly, you presented this as concrete proof, case closed, that Erica was with her children. Andrew says, here she is with the kids. Now, suddenly, the internet has not let go of the fact that they don't think these are Erica's kids, and you're now finally copying and saying, okay, well, maybe we went too big on the kid, too big on the son. It's not her son, we admit. So it's not proof of the kids, full stop, and it's not proof that Erica is with her kids. Again, why? Why are we doing this? Why are they being so weird? Why are they constantly adjusting, telling lies, gaslighting, being consistent, working behind the scenes to get out something that I was happy to just go ahead and debunk? Because like I said, I was like, 40, 60, maybe you saw her, maybe you didn't. Even if you did see her, doesn't mean Erica was doing anything weird. Like that she lives in Arizona. She has a family that's involved militarily. That's not weird. It would not be weird unless you make it weird. Unless you start telling lies. That is what makes people not trust the Turning Point USA apparatus. It's always this, a slight pivot. You told us this, now we're going to pivot and give you a different story, and then basically say to you, how dare you recognize the first story that we told you was not accurate in its entirety. Just true to Turning Point. This is just their formula that is failing upon the public, I might add. Switching gears, yesterday we were telling you about Turning Point USA, in particular, this Marcus Wada, alleged former arms dealer, he's already actually incorporating AI voices into their presentations. We're going out to donors. They're using a voiceover to narrate presentations. Well, today we can confirm to you that for a reason that is not yet known, After Charlie's death, and maybe even before Charlie's death, but definitively after, Marcus was meeting with and communicating with Hollywood AI deep fake companies. Okay, they specialize in creating deep fakes. Now, maybe if this was a conservative company that specialized in making videos, you might go, okay, you know, back when Daily Wire was saying they were going to explode into Hollywood, that might make sense. But why Turning Point USA? I'm going to give you the name of the company. It's VFX LA. Okay, VFX Los Angeles. These guys were brought into Turning Point USA. Like I said, we can confirm they met with Marcus Wada. I can't confirm that they created any content for him. But I would like to show you on their website what they say they specialize in. Let's just click around, right? Here we go. It tells us here they do voice cloning. Yet another example of our AI capabilities is the recreation of a specific voice cloning, using a bespoke AI model for that exact voice. There is no accent or colloquialism that we cannot generate. Case in point, this project for Fanatics Collectible, where we had to reproduce the unique timbre and intonation of the deceased baseball commentator, Skip Carey. Or Skip Carey, sorry, I'm not a baseball fan, guys, I don't know how to say his last name. That tells us to listen to his original voice, then to listen to this recording from the hired actor that was then read, a new script, and then finally listen to our voice cloning of Skip Carey's AI voice, despite him passing away nearly 20 years ago.
Discover.
Oh, that's interesting because I have donors telling me that they are convinced that it is AI. They were there. Charlie never said this super formal statement. I appoint Erica Kirk if anything were to happen to me. Many people emailed us, by the way, that work in AI and have worked in AI in years. They were like, Candace, I am telling you 100% that is AI. Yep. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to follow interesting leads like this. This is not all they do, by the way. They also can make videos. They can take a video of somebody, maybe somebody, as an example, giving a presentation in Aspen, just as an example. And if they needed to add a sentence or two, these would be the guys to do it. Let's actually click around and take a look at their deep fakes here, where if you want to pull back up that website, Sky, where they explain how you're going to see this original UK woman say something in a commercial, and then they are going to, you guys having some internet issues? No worries, just let me know when it's back up. Okay, cool. They pulled the video already. So, and then they're going to take this original UK commercial and then they're going to make her say it in German, make the man that's also in the commercial say it in German. They're going to make them say it in French, and how they did this for their clients, and their clients were like, still looks a little uncanny, something's off. And then they were able to further get the mouth to behave correctly and say stuff that they actually never said, or at least didn't say in that language. Let's take a look at that video.
We will now show you the array of AI tools and patented VFX methods we use to create a lifelike lip sync of an aerial commercial, from the original British English into French and then German.
So you put on a freshly washed shirt, only to find smells have come back. Oh, that's a boomerang smell.
It's when smelly particles haven't been washed out properly and are reactivated by heat. Oh, yep. Boomerang smell.
We started by
I know him. He was in a movie that I just watched not too long ago. I can't even think of it.
found the likeness of the original UK actors, which would later be used to output their photorealistic deepfake features. We then cast 2 French actors with likeness matching their UK counterparts and recorded a plethora of what we call training footage to train our AI models for each. Then the voice cloning requires ample amounts of editing, sorting, and cleaning up before we can train our AI voice models to match the original actors' voices.
Faites place à l'odeur de propreté qui dure.
C'est lorsque les particules malodorantes n'ont pas été correctement lavées.
With all that prep work and computing for my AI models, our lip syncs output are flawless right as they come out and ready for broadcast. Finally, we were asked to tweak the final smile of the actress, as the client was not fully satisfied with the original performance. So we used our patented shape control method to create a multitude of incremental changes in the intensity of the smile, adjusting the opening of the eyes, the pull of the zygomatics, and the moisture of the lips until the clients settle on their preferred performance. Whether in French, German, or any other language, this is how we create cinema-grade lipsticks.
AI.
I'll ask the question. I'll be the bad guy.
Go ahead.
What's Turning Point doing meeting with this company at all? Gosh, I don't know if it was too long ago. Maybe I'm getting old. But Turning Point USA used to be an organization that hit the ground at college campuses to spread conservative principles like free markets, capitalism.
Yeah.
What use do they have with Hollywood voice cloning in particular? Just seems a little strange to me. And wouldn't you have less of a use for that after Charlie died? Almost less of a use. Maybe you were like, we can put Charlie in a bunch of different places. And like, wouldn't you have less of a use for that after Charlie died? Like, wouldn't you maybe just like kick that can down the road if you were going to have a meeting like that? No? Well, I'd like to know. Did they work with them? Did they do anything with this company? Was it just a meeting? I mean, Andrew Kova did say they met with people that said they could do all these deep fakes of Charlie and they declined. Did they decline them all? Did they give them an example of one they could do? And Erica says she watched the video of Charlie saying that he chose her, and the donors say that didn't happen. Is it plausible that they showed her a deep fake? Did she know it was deep fake? Why would the donors, again, what is the upside of wealthy donors who went to Aspen to support Charlie saying that this definitively did not happen and that that moment is AI? Also, why wouldn't Turning Point use that moment on video to announce Erica Kirk? You know, none of that makes any sense to me. And,
that does make me think back to Barron and what he said about Erica and how, the strings just could be pulling for her and she has absolutely no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Allegedly. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I will leave it at that. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, life changes fast. One day you're planning vacations and for home loan.
A rollout is a really giant knowledge transfer project. Thousands of people suddenly need to know how to do brand new workflows.
It could be.
Home loans. All right, you guys, top comments from yesterday's episode. Somebody wrote, why would Charlie say appoint my wife instead of I would appoint my wife if something happened to me? Present tense instead of future tense. Good question.
I was waiting for somebody to get that.
Family 4 writes, I appoint my wife reads like a Tyler Robinson text. It certainly does. Overly formal. And Charlie was not this overly formal person. That's kind of what made him so engaging on stage, that he was able to be conversational. It does strike as remarkably formal, as if he was doing it, like it was a coronation. I appointed my wife. Also, a comment from Dick Shirley yesterday. He was bothered, really bothered, that I wasn't born yesterday. I'm sorry. He wrote, here you go, Candace. Here is a full favela video that you cannot comprehend is real. LOL. More dangerous than any of your family reunions, I would hope. Didn't know you were built so favela-like and dangerous, but respect. Like, okay, Nick. I don't know what to tell you. It isn't journalism to people. It's just how they grow up. And thank you for all the Brazilians in the comments yesterday. You were hilarious. You guys should scroll through yesterday's comments of being like, this is the biggest joke I've ever heard. Like I said, you just live enough and it's so beyond ridiculous. It's not even worth debating. I know there's a sucker born every minute, but you just have to be deep in the throes of suburbia to think that somebody can infiltrate a gang in the favela 48 hours, after 48 hours. Like, just with a camera and a mic, you will be robbed so quickly. Viewers, do not try that at home. Okay, today's comments, just saw a big one come in on YouTube. Hello, Candace. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for the world and blowing the lid off of all of this ridiculousness. Quick question, whatever happened to all the Mitt Romney stuff we took a break from? Much love from Texas. I'm still looking into it. I do think that is a piece of this. Utah, I forgot, Mitt Romney kind of runs things, and This investigation is ongoing in so many different ways. We return to certain things when they fit into another piece, but the Mitt Romney thing is incredibly compelling, especially his long relationship with Bibi Netanyahu. So thank you for reminding me to return to that at some point. Comments from today's episode. Monica W. writes, I rushed to see Oprah at 4 daily, and my teenage self was often disappointed because I didn't care about the topics. Now I rush to find your show time every day, and I'm never disappointed. Either I'm officially adulting or you spill the best truth tea. Thank you so much, Monica. That's very, very sweet. To even consider myself in that realm. I guess Oprah is so different. Their daytime talk television. And she used to really go there, by the way, with her old shows. And she was covering some very interesting and compelling stuff. So I appreciate that compliment. RKO is Life writes, hello, Candace. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for the world. Oh, that's one I just read. Thank you guys for pulling that from YouTube. Saw that come in. Z.A. Mitt writes, Charlie Kirk did not die in vain. No, he did not. I totally agree with you. Brooke writes, your independence is your superpower. It's rare to see someone fight for the truth regarding Charlie with such loyalty. Calling out these cult leaders is exactly what we need right now. Christ is King. And there are so many of them. And unfortunately, many of them occupy the space of churches and they mega churches. And they are telling you that they're doing this for God. And I think people are recognizing it's not. They are actually hacking into faith and trying to move people toward a political stance, and really a devastating political stance. This user writes, donor-advised funds, Waterstone lawsuit, come with instructions for the charity on what to allocate the funds to with keeping donor names secret. So I think it's what Charlie was trying to audit. Known for foreign monies being moved in donor-advised funds, I believe, I disagree slightly, I believe he was looking taking a close look at Turning Point Action. Based on everything that I have looked at, based on the people that I've spoken to within the organization, the rumor is that Turning Point Action was missing $10 million. And Turning Point Action actually built a backdoor. It has connections to Erica's mother. That is just a fact. I'm blanking on the name of the company that she is on the board of with Tyler Boyer. Superfeed actually powers the Turning Point USA website. So the app, pardon me. So if you look into the app and you start to read the stuff you click past when you're downloading an app, it tells you Superfeed. I think that they probably built a lot of mechanisms. And again, I'm speculating here, but with a lot of pieces of people who were at Turning Point USA, who are no longer at Turning Point USA, saying that that was where the money was missing from. And if it was Turning Point Action, then there would be a direct tie to Lori Franste. It would have created a serious kerfluffle in his relationship with his wife if he found out something about Lori Franste, who, I have a lot of question marks about her in general, but I've expressed that throughout our Erica Kirk series, Bride of Charlie. Ali writes, Erica went on Glenn Beck and said Charlie wasn't texting people that he was going to be killed the day before. When she privately admitted to you that this was false, why didn't she correct the record publicly? Isn't that weird? Yes, you are correct. That is weird. She said it with such attitude, right? She's like, I had his phone. He never said that. And then she got clocked on it because I then the next day said, that's weird because Andrew was one of the people he texted and he told me. And then she was like, well, then it's because, stuff was set to delete Dan Flood. Okay, this is your husband. He didn't tell you that he thought he was going to die the night before, that he had any sort of anxiety about that. He's up the night before. You said he was just excited. It's a weird thing to experience those two emotions at once. You're so excited about something that you've done that's actually become quite mundane. I never remember Charlie. All of our text messages the night before, hotel robes with paper thin walls where I could hear the shower. Never did I ever hear Charlie just be so excited about doing a college campus event because we used to so many of them that he couldn't sleep. This night was different. He was so excited he couldn't sleep, but also thought he was going to be killed. It's a lot of emotion going through one guy. I believe one of those. I believe that Charlie was fearful the night before and not excited about doing a college campus event at a college that he'd already done a college campus event at. This was not new. It was not unique. I mean, it's not to, say anything to the UVU crowd, but this was his job. And he was years and years and years and years into that job. So I don't believe that's the reason he was up. I don't. When I put the Blues Clues together, that doesn't feel right. And then she didn't mention that to her at all. That doesn't register as right to me either. And then it turns out that even when she tried to fix the lie, which they probably thought through, and Telegram, that this is where this took place on Telegram, that was inaccurate. And he actually texted Dan an iMessage. So did somebody delete the messages before it was given to Erica?
Your life never stops moving forward. Your finances shouldn't either. Get Quicken.
The world is unpredictable. Things like storms, pandemics, earthquakes, and wars are commonplace.
I know she's not concerned, obviously. None of this bothers her. None of the holes bother her. She's just, the loving, doting widow who believes every single piece that the Fed has spun and is not at all. And she doesn't even have one question about this investigation. Just forgives them. And she'd like to close this chapter and move on. And that's that. TJ Clark writes, ex-Aurora PD officer here. September 10th was especially heavy for us due to the local shooting with Charlie Kirk right afterward. I took my kids out of school on 9/11 because of it. Happy to help with local records requests if you ever need it. Thank you very much. I will save your username. That's very helpful. I don't know how deep I will get into that September 10th story, but I do believe it deserved a more national spotlight. And I can imagine what you guys went through. That's just a lot. I'm sorry, it's Aurora PD. I'm thinking of the September 10th one. Aurora PD was the Batman shooting. And yeah, that's super interesting. Please do shoot us an email to moretips@candacesummers.com so I can have your information, because I do have some questions about that. Totally bizarre. The story of the one woman who was shot like 5 times and taken out by police officers into a police car, and Jessica Garza, I believe her name was. Something's very strange about that. Like I said, my conspiracy is that these are military targets, people that are being taken out. The fact that she had just survived another shooting, missed it in a food court up in Canada. There's a lot weird about that story. Happy Coma writes, it was almost certainly the Clear Creek Sheriff Office working in collaboration. We don't have our own police department in Evergreen. That's interesting. State Patrol and Clear Creek responded. That's very interesting. And I would imagine that they would know the protocol, having been in the area of Columbine. Thank you for sharing that. Julia writes, just saw a Words of Wisdom video that Erica Kirk recorded of Charlie Kirk. He said, you want to find out a lot about someone, give them a bunch of power. It just feels like a whole 2025, 26 vibe between TPUSA, Trump, and Israel. Yeah, somebody made the joke. Somebody who will not be named in the control room made the joke. And it really tickled me, because if you watched Lord of the Rings and like all of the people fighting for power for Charlie, it's like Charlie was the only one who could actually hold the ring and not want unlimited power. And then they were like, Erica comes out of nowhere and just tastes the power and becomes that queen who's like, I can be the queen. I think we have that clip. We have to show the clip. This is the moment I'm talking about. If you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, dismiss this. But this is, I'm like, yep. The ring, tempting. I can be your CEO. Let's watch this clip.
I do not deny that my heart has greatly desired this.
I've never seen.
In place of a dark lord, you would have a queen! Not dark, but beautiful and terrible as the dawn! Treacherous as the sea! Stronger than the foundations of the earth! All sounds of me and despair!
I couldn't even tell you what's going on. She's so silly.
Yeah.
She's so silly.
Yeah, I think people wanted some power. I don't know. Instead of, you will have a queen. I'm sorry that we're not serious people. Please ignore us. Anyway, we have merch on the website. Please ignore us, but do support us. You can join the book club on Friday. We will be doing my book, which I'm very, very excited about. You're just going to keep hearing me say that. Make him a sandwich. This is the first time we're reading my book. And if you are a feminist, that is the challenge. Join the book club. Read through it.
I've never seen no Lord of the Rings. Fine. I'm just trying to see what's going on before I get up over here. I actually have to go to bed because I have to get up early. So unfortunately, I can't stay up too late. Unfortunately, I know, but mark my words, it's definitely gonna be worth it for sure. I did have to get up early because Madison and Madeline had a dentist appointment this morning, and it was a total train wreck, to say the least. Fooling with Seth Miller because he didn't have a dentist appointment this morning. When did Charleston White get on Vlad? This is interesting.
Agenda here in Georgia. Let's re-elect Darshun Kendrick, Democrat for State House.
Why are you paying $80 for garbage internet?
This is Ryoko Pro. It's a pocket-sized Wi-Fi hotspot about the size.
All right, here we go. The mighty return of Charleston White to Vlad TV.
Yeah. They thought this would never happen again.
Well,
I always knew it would, though.
Well, we got to talk about the elephant in the room before we talk about anything else.
Yeah.
And that's the whole Boosie thing. Now, first of all, I'm going to say that me and Boosie are still cool with each other, and this is not going to be a Boosie bash session.
Nah, I didn't come here to talk about Boosie.
Right.
You know, like I would tell people, in your defense, we was already nibbling at this long before this situation incident happened. So
right.
Yeah, so.
Right, because as some of you know, you and I had already been doing interviews.
We did like 3, I think.
Did 2 or 3 interviews.
Yeah. And they did numbers. They did great.
They did numbers, right? Then you and Boosie got into it.
Yeah.
And I think you talked about Boosie's son.
Yeah.
Boosie approached me and said, Vlad, as a favor, please don't do any more Charleston interviews. And here's the thing. When you do business with people, you give them grace.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People ask you, you have a successful business relationship, everyone making money, they ask you for a favor, you give them that favor.
And you guys got history.
We got a longer history than me and you.
I'm the new guy coming
You're the new guy.
I'm new at the school.
You're the new guy. So I gave him the grace and said, cool, I got you. Now, people talk about loyalty and everything else like that. I probably gave up at least $100,000.
Easily.
To not do interviews with you.
And at that time, I was only taking $2,000 for a payment.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so Boosie wasn't the only one. T.I. did that. So a lot of people made calls to, because it was T.I. and Boosie kids at the same time. So T.I. called Big Facts Podcast. They Stop Association. 85 South Show. DJ Academics was the only one who was like, nah, I'm still rocking with it. But I took it personal. Over time, I understand. I'm the new guy. Nobody knows me.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from an angle that don't look like entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming way out of left field with some shit.
Yes, you are.
So over time I understood it. At that time I took it personal.
Well, yeah. Look, I decided to accept what Boosie asked me to do.
Yeah.
And I went hard with it. Me and you started going back and forth.
Yeah.
I think you said something. I think you said, I hope your newborn baby dies or something like that.
I didn't know you had kids or not. I didn't know if you have kids.
I have kids, but I didn't have a newborn baby at the time.
And I thought you had a white Jewish wife. I didn't know you even like black girls. So I was fucking with your white woman. Yeah.
I've always rocked with black women, man.
Yeah. So I'm bashing your white Jewish wife and your white kids. Wishing all kind of internet weird things. Things that I know is gonna stir up the pot intentionally.
Yeah. And look, from my point of view, I understand what you're doing. It's just words.
Yeah.
It's just words. Do I think you're going to actually try to hurt anybody, me or anyone around me? No, not at all. Zero.
Yeah.
I have zero fear of you actually taking the next step. So I understand it's just words. Do I agree with those types of words? No, I don't do it. I don't talk about people's kids. I don't talk about celebrating death and all that.
My wife don't. I got friends that don't. But I'm saying when I step into this space, no matter how you feel, this is now a stage for me to perform on.
Yep.
No matter how you're looking at it, I have knowledge, I have information, and I have awareness due to a video I keep referencing Social Dilemma.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know people gonna look at this and say, "Oh, Vlad's not being loyal to Boosie. He's dealing with Boosie's ops as soon as things kind of don't work out with him."
It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
You're talking almost $500,000 you walked away from.
Probably. And I've been rocking with that, and I've been losing money, and it got to the point where Boosie wanted to take all the money that was made for the interview. I was already paying him a majority. He was getting about 70% at $25,000. He wanted $35,000. So where's the loyalty in that?
And let me just say this. And I don't know nobody outside of me and Boosie that consistently makes anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 in interviews. Nobody.
There's some other people.
Maybe, but
Tekashi.
Well, that's before he failed. But before he failed, you would have to pay more.
Yeah.
You would have to pay before he came down here with us.
No, but he's still getting big numbers. What I'm saying.
I'm still getting big numbers now. But he had to go to prison. Had you went to prison to shot, he wouldn't be doing interviews like this. But he'd be performing worldwide.
He'd be a mega star.
He'd mega star had he not went to prison. So we wouldn't be getting a lot of Vlad TV interviews and him going back and forward with these rappers, right?
Yeah.
But because he fell from grace, he had to come back and revive his career. He came back and revived his career swimming upstream, right? So he went to prison again. This time when he came back, he's on an upward trajectory.
Yep.
His numbers is going crazy.
Yeah, new interviews going crazy.
It's going crazy. So when he asked for these numbers, the most I've ever been paid is $40,000 for a 2-day interview here in LA.
Yeah, and I said publicly, I kept this to myself, but me and him actually talked about it in our last interview. Our first interview was $50,000.
I'm Will Wooten, and I'm running for the Georgia Court of Appeals. As a prosecutor, I fought corruption, cracking down on gang.
Well, yeah, because after the Boosie situation, because Boosie heard about what you were making. Now, I never actually said what you're making, right?
Yeah.
I said you want to say
tell the world?
You want to do it?
No, wait. I don't give a fuck, but can you tell the world? All right, just say it.
You want to say it?
Yeah.
50,000. But it made over 100.
It was worth it.
It was worth it. It was the biggest interview in 2025. Am I right?
You're right.
Was that Tekashi interview the biggest interview across all genres?
It was.
2025. Did like 20 million views.
So everything he touched during that era, I did a 20 versus 2 with him. Went crazy.
Right.
So everything he did astronomical numbers. So you can't deny what he brought to the table and what he's bringing now. Boosie kind of started to go on a decline.
A little bit.
And
numbers-wise.
Number-wise. Yeah. Because for a long time, it was just you and him playing ping pong. You became oversaturated.
A little bit.
At one point in time, my numbers started to not decline, but they just became stagnant because I became oversaturated on this one particular channel.
Talking about Say Cheese?
Yeah.
Shout out to Sean Cotton.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
So.
And hold on, I just want to say this, just to be totally fair. The reason I heard about you was because of Sean Cotton. He's the one that gave the springboard to people like me.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
So you got to give him his flowers.
I had no idea who Sean Cotton was when he was trying to book me. I knew who Vlad was. So I ignored him for a long time.
Okay.
Vlad TV was the guy.
Huh?
When he showed up, then I found out who he was. It's two people that's very, very crucial in my development. That's you and Sean. Sean Cotton told me the first time he done ever do me that I would be a millionaire. I didn't believe him. Far-fetched when he said that. You told me at the height of my YouTube career when I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had only been on YouTube for 6 months. I was grossing $20,000 a month. Right before I lost it, I just got my biggest check. You said, hey, man, you need to do this. You need to do this. They're going to take it. You can't attack this group, this people. You gave me a list of
I told you you're going to get shut down if you keep going.
Yeah,
and what happened right afterwards?
I turn up and I shut down.
And you got shut down.
I thought you were hating on me.
Oh, you thought I was hating on you?
I thought you were hating on me.
Okay.
So
I wasn't hating.
No, you wasn't.
Nah.
But I didn't know you wasn't hating until I lost it. You got to think, I wasn't doing pre-records. I was coming live for 2 hours every day, making money, not knowing what to do. I'm cussing in the first hour, the first minute. I'm doing everything wrong, and it was working. You said, you have to do this. I knew nothing about community guidelines. I knew nothing about YouTube Studio until you made that call. That's when I sat down and got in the chair and started learning because I had lost it. So I said, man, that white boy would hate me. But I couldn't come say it publicly.
Oh, this one's gonna be. Look, you see, I scroll down mid video. I'm like, oh, okay, 3:48 since yesterday. Getting up there for a shout. I'm definitely tap in on that one. Now, let's give a praise report, okay? Because we watched this video when it dropped. We caught it when it dropped. What are they doing? Look, it's another. And look, try he at 26K. Remember when we saw this video? This video here? He was at 4,000. He's up to 26. And he wrote a post about it too. Look. It doesn't have the little artwork. 2K to 20K in 3 days. He said, God is amazing. Everything happens for a reason. And now I finally understand that. In just 3 days, we went from 2K to 20K subscribers. That's crazy. I appreciate every single fan, supporter. Hold on. Let me scroll it up. Let me just. Subscriber, repost, comment, and person that believed in me when nobody else did. Y'all changed my life for real. This just the beginning. It's up. And then I guess GBYBTV. Okay. I guess he should have just put hashtag Rise of a Champion. But that was so dope. I saw that earlier when I was, because you know I have to come in and tap in onto the YouTube algorithm just to see. Like I just tap in and be like, let me see what's going on real quick. And I had saw that that post, and I was like, oh my goodness. When we saw that video, it was like 4,000. Oh no, he had for like 4,000 subscribers. I'm reading Barry because he ain't live. And so I thought that was so dope. And then I'm sitting in the bed and I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. But then I was like, no, Gabe, remember he said he had a show.
To all the moms out there and to all the sons and daughters who have moms, and if you're not close to your mom, that's okay too. I hope you're having a great day. I just want to say Melania Trump came out with a Mother's Day message that to me seemed very pointed towards the President of the United States, and I'm not the only one who thought so. The Daily Beast did too. Now, what's interesting is that she wrote this op-ed. Let us put that in the largest air quotes imaginable. She wrote this op-ed. This woman can barely speak English. Ain't no way she's writing an op-ed for the Washington Post. The Washington Post, by the way, which is owned by Jeff Bezos and funded the Melania movie. Regardless, she's out with a Mother's Day message that is very strange. I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'm going to show you what the Daily Beast thinks is going on here. First, here she is in the Washington Post saying, mothers are America's strength. Women can lead boldly at work while restoring their honor of motherhood. All right, it says here, the household is our nation's smallest institution, yet is the foundation of all others, including democracy itself. The values cultivated in homes often shape the moral voice of the generation. Looking ahead, we must consider how to strengthen this vital role. Now, why does that matter to me? Well, I think there's a couple things going on here. It is interesting that Melania Trump is talking about how the household is the nation's smallest institution when she literally, like her and Trump do not live together. They don't live together. They barely live together when they're raising the son that they have together, Barron. And so to me, this seems like a bit of a jab at Donald Trump because they do not share a household at all. And if it's the foundation of democracy itself, what is she really saying? Being a modern mother demands the discipline and restraint to not disregard what came before us. In this spirit, the healthy evolution of the American family can best be achieved by preserving the elements of the past that have proved their worth. In doing so, America can restore the honor of motherhood after years in which feminism often placed career above family with consequences to our nation. American can restore the honor of motherhood. Has motherhood been dishonored by feminism? Do you think that's true? I don't think that's true. I think, if anything, equality is something I really think is like a North Star. It's very hard to know if you ever fully achieved it, but we are certainly closer to it than we've been in the past. So I just don't understand this line.
Let me read it because his voice, I'll get bored. Being a modern mother demands the discipline and restraint to not disregard what came before us. Modern mother. In this spirit, the healthy evolution of the American family can best be achieved by preserving the elements of the past that have proved their worth. In doing so, America can restore the honor of motherhood after years in which feminism often placed career above family, with consequences to our nation. Yes, women can thrive in both motherhood and business, but let's be honest. Extended families and strong support systems are often essential to providing a solid base for success. That's why I admire the strength and dedication of single mothers in America, who often handle these responsibilities alone. I note too that Mary is whoever that is. American women today are finding unique. I just scroll down because foster mothers selflessly provide safety and stability when it is needed most. Often these moments create powerful bonds that can alter a child's trajectory and even lead to a permanent home through adoption, changing lives forever. American women today are finding unique ways to balance career, ambition, and family. The busy accountant who makes time during tax season to read with her kids before bedtime. And okay, we get it. No, okay, we get it. It ain't even that bad. I didn't see it.
Hello, Kevin.
Oh my God. I need to see the whole thing. I need to go watch the whole roast. I just kept seeing clips of it on World Star. Look at Kevin with the damn head.
Hello, Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Now that I think about it, I'm glad it was on my algorithm because I actually want to go find it. I believe it was Kevin. Yeah, look, first time bubble. I would just want the whole. Is it? Let me see here. This is it.
30-year teacher, coach, and principal, Dr. Bubba Longrear for Georgia School Superintendent.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a fun, fast, and intelligent way.
Kevin, you're gonna hear some things tonight that you're not familiar with. Those things are called punchlines.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the funniest moment number 8, MC Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis took on hosting duties, meaning no subject was off limits. This included jokes about AIDS and Cheryl Underwood's husband taking his own life. Actually, Gillis found a way to bridge both of those jokes.
Yvonne, the #1 rated business travel platform, lets your team book work travel in one place. Flights, hotels, cars, while staying within budget and earning.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea Handler.
Number 7, Chelsea Handler takes on...
Sitting up high, barely, almost, kind of, sort of, I don't know. They doing the best that they could, Lord. Why ain't get no tape and tape it and then, okay, you got it, Chelsea.
Shane Gillis and Tony Hinch.
Hey, Chelsea is, child. She's what she sexy, honey. It's giving yummy.
Of course.
I'm gonna check on this cold dude. I hear him mumbling, rumbling, whatever he doing. Or not.
Did not let Gillis got off.
I'll be back. Hold on. You know, he run that then. I'm coming on him. what's going on here. Trying to cover up.
Crazy compared to Tony Hinchcliffe.
Another
time the audience laughed or gasped, Hinchcliffe was already moving on to the next joke.
Right, look at Lizzo. Right, look. I didn't even know she was in the building. Hey, girl. She looks so
regarding
good.
Lizzo's struggle
look, she looks so good.
Now. The location of handlers.
They've gotten so big, they now buckle Kevin up in the car seat.
Our rights are under attack, but our state senator, Kim Jackson, is fighting back, fighting to expand Medicaid, defending our right to vote, and protecting victims of domestic violence. Let's re-elect Kim Jackson, Democrat for state senate.
Figuring out what it was.
Low testosterone's coming for all men. Testosterone levels have been dropping 1% per year since the 80s.
Number 5, Pete Davidson jokes about his dad. Pete Davidson seems like a genuinely nice guy, not to mention a good sport considering how many jokes were told at
Why the mic so low for Pete?
Father's expense. It's not like Davidson isn't without a dark sense of humor. The former SNL star demonstrated this when he compared Tony Hinchcliffe to Charlie Kirk.
Kill Tony! Please, someone!
Davidson proceeded to announce Lizzo as the star of the next Clumps movie, and called out Handler for looking older than former boyfriend 50 Cent, even though both were born in. Davidson also figured that if everyone else can make jokes about his dad, so can he, turning his grief into an insult aimed at Ross.
Jeff looks like my dad if he somehow survived 9/11.
Davidson capped things off by saying that if any comedian is owed money from Saudi Arabia, it's Hart. The other roasters didn't have anything very mean to say about Regina Hall. It seemed like Hall had nothing but nice things.
These titties is doing a lot for me. I'm like, why everybody got all their titties out?
About Hart at first. Talking about their long-lasting friendship, Hall's roast took an unexpected turn, revealing that she can channel Hart's late mother.
Real results for students, teachers, and families. Conservative Bubba Longrear for Georgia School Superintendent.
At 38, I was a size 6. At 44, I'm a size 14. Same diet, same lifestyle, same woman. My doctor...
Oh my God! Exactly. Look, out of here. Interesting. Okay, pool noodles are doing a lot. I'm finna get up out
Grab
of
a pool noodle.
Like I said, I haven't.
And attach it to your garden hose. Next, get a zip tie. Fasten it to secure the pool noodle. Once this is tight, grab this end and a spoon and stick it on the back and then zip tie it. One like this and another towards the bottom of the spoon. Here's how this will work. The spoon will now create the perfect little stream here. You can water multiple plants at once without damaging it with that really forceful hose. Truly so much better. Grab a pool noodle, and attach it to your garden hose.
The pool noodle is, I can't say $1 because Kroger got them $1.99. Dollar Tree is up $1.50. I don't know how we got from $1 to $1.25 to $1.50, but we're at $1.50 at the Dollar Tree. She might well go. I technically I can't say change your name because Family Dollar they in the dollar, but I know I was at Dollar Tree last week and $1.50. Interesting. And so and them zip ties. I'm like, you could have just bought a spout, honey. You could have just but anyway, in the meantime, I'm gonna get up out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, of course. I'm scrolling. I'm just making sure don't nothing pop out real quick. Making sure I ain't missed nothing. Cause y'all, you know, YouTube streets. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock. 1:09 a.m. So I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. But in the meantime, in between time, okay.